Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Just wanted to make a quick little video for you guys up at the cottage. It is our Canadian Thanksgiving. We have it, it's basically a whole month and a bit before the Americans. And I believe it's all because of where you are on the planet. So we're up high on the planet, so our autumn comes earlier than the States. Our crop seasons are over quicker. So we've been celebrating our Thanksgiving on the 1st or 2nd October. I think it's always the 2nd October because today's the 11th and tomorrow's the 12th, 13th. So yeah, it'll be the 2nd Monday of October every single year. And I know the Americans is always on the 27th, I believe, of November. And it's funny, when I first walked outside, it was not raining. I knew it possibly could rain, or at least the trees are going to drip all over me, so I made sure I wore my rain jacket. And of course I'm going to get rain in my bear mug. That was my thumbnail right there. Happy Thanksgiving. But yeah, I don't think I've ever, I don't recall doing a rain vlog down at the lake, looking around. The leaves are red, green, orange, yellow, just beautiful. I'm hoping tomorrow will be nice and sunny and I'll make another vlog for you guys. Hopefully I'll get the drone up. Like, that's a great shot right there, eh? With that overhanging tree, Canadian flag just floating. The rock dock, the lapping waves. It's very tranquil. But yeah, I discovered that the dock might be floating in a bit too much, so I might have to tomorrow get my bathing suit on, just kind of walk out to it, get that farthest anchor rope, make it a bit tighter just to get it further away from the shore, and hope that will do the trick. And then we just have this one rope off to the side as a redundant backup system, and I have it tied to that tree over there. And basically, if all anchors fail or the water goes up high enough that it actually lifts all the 4 anchors off the bottom of the lake, which it possibly could, then it won't float away. So that's my redundant backup, because the chances of the lake going that high, and in all the years that we've been coming up here, which are more than 59. My mom, there's a cottage over there. I guess I could zoom in with this camera, but there are 2 boathouses over there. There's the white one straight ahead, and this to the right of that, there's another one. It used to be like a burgundy color, but now it has I think it was a burgundy exterior or siding, and the garage door was yellow or something. But anyways, that was called the Tanners. They used to own that cottage, and my granddad and Nana, when they first came here to Canada, my mom was, I think, 16. My granddad, they were only supposed to be here for like 2 or 3 years, maybe 4. And in that time, my mom started dating my dad. My Aunt Susan was in university, and so was my Uncle Edward. And so they were all kind of settling in. They were getting to that stage of their lives where they just didn't want to move again. So they started in England, and my granddad was a vice president of, Dunlop Tires. I drank my first coffee way too fast. Sorry. I apologize. So then my nana and granddad got married in Birmingham, England. Then they promoted him and wanted him to go to India. And I can't remember, Calcutta. I believe they were in Calcutta for 5 years. In that time, my mom was born. So my mom's basically like Indian, native England Indian, although I think she still retained her British status at that time. My mom lived there. I think she was born pretty quickly, because I think she said she lived, it's possible she was born, like she was definitely born in India, raised till she was 5 in India, and she actually could speak English and Hindu. And then when mom was 5, I believe they moved back to England, and then they moved down to South Africa for like another 5 years. I can't remember how long they were back in England for, but it wasn't like maybe a year or two, and then they shipped them down to South Africa. And again, it was my granddad's decisions to accept these job offers, and then the last one was to Canada. And then if he had moved back to England, he would have been like a super top-notch guy. Financially, it was a really bad idea for him to not go back to England, but again, he felt family was more important than career and money, and wanted his 3 kids and his wife to be happy. And so back to this story, which is when they were here, my granddad asked people, what do you guys do in the summertime for fun and relaxation? And they say, we go up to Muskoka and rent a cottage and for a couple weeks and take the whole family up. So my nana and granddad started renting the Tanner's cottage back in the 60s. I'm guessing it was like the mid 60s. And then my granddad noticed that they were developing all this land behind me. So this used to be all farmland. They said they remember cows coming down from the pastures to drink water down here. And so he saw that they were dividing the land up. And so he came over and he made an offer for this 2 properties over there. So that property actually is 2 properties. So he bought that in 1965. In 1966, I was born, and they were building the cottage, and I was in basically a bassinet, or one of those carriages with 4 wheels, and a bug net over the baby carriage. So they built the cottage, obviously not the one that's there now. They tore that, the people that bought it off my nana and granddad back in the 90s. Was it the 90s? No. I think it was the late 90s. They sold it. Wish I had bought it. I so wish I had bought it, because I think they only sold it for $100,000, something like that. My mom and dad bought this in 1972 for $9,000. Doesn't that make you angry? The things back then were so cheap. So anyway, I'd love to know what my nana and granddad bought the property for and how much it cost them to build it was a Viceroy cottage. People who live in Canada and possibly the United States might know the name Viceroy. They built like what do they call it? Like a box cottage. So it kind of came as a kit, and then you hire people to build it, and they come and build it. But it's kind of like a cookie cutter cottage. It's a really nice cottage. I enjoyed that cottage, and so they built that while I was in the bassinet. So 66 is when they bought that, and then by 72, I guess in 71. My mom was like on her little float, and she was just kind of swimming around. And when she came this way, she saw a sign that said for sale. And of course the cottage looked way different than it did now, much smaller. We've added on to it. And she saw that this was for sale, and she talked my dad into buying it. My dad thought she was crazy, because they were still in a mortgage in Scarborough, Ontario, for a house for $16,000, which again, when you're making, $2,000 a year, it's a lot of money, $16,000. I don't know how much they made back then. I'm just spitballing. If anybody knows what the average household made back in 1960, or yeah, 1971, 72 in Canada. That would be kind of funny to look that up. Maybe I'll ask ChatGPT. Well, let's ask my mom if she can remember how much money she was making. But the fact to take on another mortgage for a cottage for another $9,000 plus, my dad thought my mom was nuts. It's like, how can we possibly afford that? I just had to touch the screen so that I can see, make sure I'm pointing the camera in the right direction. So there's a nice little history lesson for you guys for Thanksgiving, Canadian Thanksgiving, which is really appropriate, I think. Yeah, so my mom and dad, you know, they started wanting to bring up friends to the cottage. So that's why my mom really wanted to buy this cottage, because then they're right beside her parents' cottage. And it's like we're all still coming up together. But my nan and granddad, you know, they were very private, and they didn't want other people coming up to the cottage, and they just wanted family and to relax with family all the time. And my mom and dad wanted to bring friends up once in a while. And so they just decided to, the answer was to buy the cottage right next door to my nan and granddad. That way we're still coming up to the cottage, we're still hanging out together, we're still doing dinners and stuff together and hanging out. But my mom and dad had the freedom of inviting whoever they wanted up to the cottage. And it was probably the best decision. I think my mom's a very smart woman, and yeah, she's made a lot of really, really good decisions in the past. There were a few bad decisions. I think she admits that there was a time where they moved from one house to another just when a recession hit. Actually, it happened twice, back in the 80s and then in the 90s. Like I remember the 80s recession, and they had moved from Scarborough up to, oh sorry, it wasn't a recession. They moved from Scarborough up to Unionville, and they sold their house in Scarborough for like $96,000, but we're buying like a $160,000 house, 4,000 square foot house up in, because their business was doing really well. And then the main client they had left. And that's why when you have a business, you don't want one main client and kind of rely on your income being on the one main client. So you need, you know, it's better to have, 25 smaller clients. That way, when one of them leaves, it doesn't hurt as much. So my mom and dad were very scared at that time. Oh, my hand's falling asleep holding that cup. Jeez. So there's a real cool history lesson for you guys. So yeah. So it stopped raining, I think. Yeah, it did. Just hanging out with you guys. So once again, have a fantastic and safe Thanksgiving. I'll definitely be doing another vlog tomorrow, so stay tuned. Hopefully it's nice and sunny and I can fly the drone and get some good shots, because those colors over on the other side are, I think, perfect. Like this is a perfect Thanksgiving weekend. I personally love it when it's raining and we all bring up our comfy clothes and sit around. We have a fake fireplace and get the heaters going. You're wearing your Muskoka Bear wear. I always bring this up on Thanksgiving because it's orange and it's my favorite Thanksgiving hoodie that I bring up to the cottage. Super warm, comfy. Anyway, so again, I wish you all the best. Ooh, mallard. Wah. All right, have a great and safe weekend, guys, and we'll see you in the next vlog. Ciao.